They're the largest segment of our society. According to Forbes in 2015, Generation Z made up 25% of the U.S. population, making them a larger group than the baby boomers or the millennials. We know that Gen Z students are the most plugged in we've ever seen, but do we really know how their lifestyle impacts their ability to learn? Well, we're going to get some great advice today from author and generational expert David Stillman and his 17-year-old son, Jonah Stillman. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure. David, tell us, what is Generation Z exactly? Why is it so important we need to know about them now?
So Generation Z is a generation that came after the millennials, 72 million strong, born between 1995 and 2012. And it's so important that we're talking about them because everyone talks about the millennials. Every day we're hearing about the millennials, and yet everyone's assuming someone under 30 is a millennial, yet this is a completely different generation. The leading edge is already 22 years old, and we're talking about going back to school. Well, this generation, the entire population going back to school, is actually Gen Z, a completely different generation than the millennials. And if we think about Gen Z, this is a generation that has grown up with so much technology, where the millennials were our digital pioneers. Well, now we have a generation digital natives. They've only known a world where they're truly connected and plugged in.
That's an incredible thing when you really think about it. So how do we adapt the study techniques now to fit their lifestyle and learning style?
Well, here's what's so important. What we're here to talk about is that everyone just assumes everything should be technology, but we found with Gen Z, it's not an either or, it's a combination of both. So they may read something on their screen or on their e-reader, but then they'll grab a notebook and jot it down, or a Post-it super sticky note and put it on the side of their screen. They do a combination of both. In fact, the brand did a study, and 85% of Gen Z students feel they're going to learn best if they have a combination of digital and non-digital tools.
Interesting fact right there. So let's go straight to the source, Jonah. What else do we need to know about your study habits and how we can help you?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with what my dad said. You know, as often as I do study from an e-reader or an iPad, I do still like to take handwritten notes. And then when I study from something like a textbook, I like to flag key information that I know I'm going to need to know later when I'm studying. And in fact, I think a lot of Gen Z thinks like this. A lot of my friends feel the same way, that no matter how digital we go, it's always important to step away from that digital world and handwrite some notes sometimes.
I found it really interesting that the brand in their study, 93% of Gen Z use handwritten notes to keep up with their schoolwork. Again, the mistake to make is to assume everything's going to be digital.
Jonah, do you like to unplug every once in a while, even though your generation is so tech savvy?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important in everyday life, and especially when learning. You know, as digital as our world can be, I think it's super beneficial to step away and go old-fashioned, take out some pen and paper and write down some notes.
David, where can we go for some more great information about Gen Z?
Absolutely. Postit.com/study to learn more about this generation. I applaud you for having the dialogue because Gen Z needs to get on the radar.
All right, David Stillman and his son Jonah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.